had to come from behind at the death. We've seen recent history shows us when the All Blacks get ahead, 17-0 in Auckland, I think it was 15-0 at Dallas Park last year. There's almost no way of coming back. So how important is the preparation this week to make a fast start in the game, which I'm sure you'll be involved in whether you play or not?
Yeah, of course, I'm sure the coaches have mentioned it before. A fast start, I think that is something that's hard to determine. The bounce of the ball, rugby is a funny game. Sometimes you go in with good intensity, with good energy, and the bounce of the ball is just in the opposition's favour. So yeah, I think what we can control is to start the game with really good intensity, and of course I think what will help that is also preparation in the week. So training today has started on a really good note. There's of course also a lot of analysis being done on New Zealand, and a lot of learnings from the first match in the Rugby Championship, and then what worked in the last match against them. So yeah, hopefully all of that preparation will help us to start the game with good intensity, and then whatever the points will be like in that first 10, 15, 20 minutes, hopefully it will be in our favour then.
Hi John, Jared Horn here from the Irish Times. Good to see you, and thank you. Never thought I'd be interviewing an Irish player in the final of the World Cup. Good joke.
For that.
But do you ever stop and think of this curious journey you've taken? Like as a kid, you were growing up dreaming of playing for Springboks, then became a goal to play for Ireland, and 4 years ago you could never thought this would be possible.
No, I think I've caught myself thinking about it probably too often. It's a strange one, because I mean, if you asked me 6 months ago if I at all thought I had any chance of being here at the World Cup final playing for the Springboks, I would have told you you're absolutely insane. So for me, it's been, yeah, I'll probably wake up when it's all said and done and think, was that a dream or did it actually happen? You know, it was outside of the realm of thinking. Yeah, so it's been a fantastic journey for me. It's been brilliant being part of the squad. I think, to be honest, it's one of the best groups of lads I've ever had the pleasure of playing with, working with, and knowing. From players to staff to analysts to medical team to coaches, they're all just great people, and diligent, hard workers, passionate about the game, passionate about South Africa. It's been an absolute pleasure being part of it.
Could I ask you just one more, because you obviously played against Ireland in the pool stages, which there must have been a few interesting moments. Ty Byrne told us that you got a good shot in them with a clear out.
Yeah, look, you always try and get the lads. It's sort of like yeah, it's just one of those things. If you know someone a little bit better, you always go a little bit out of your way just to see if you can get one over on them. But no, look, yeah, I think me and Orie hit Ty, got a clear out once, but no, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it was a pity for us that the result didn't go our way, but look, here we are in the end still. So at the end of the day, no one really looks back and says, okay, well, you lost the full game. They're going to look at, did you win the World Cup? So we were obviously disappointed with the result back then, but happy with where we are now. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic game to be part of. I enjoyed every minute.
Great. Any questions?
Hi guys, I know you weren't on the pitch, but can I just ask you, how surprised are you both about the allegations about Bongi?
Look, Bongi's a great guy. I've known him since we played together at the Stormers, I think 9 years ago. Like, he's a fantastic guy. He's a good individual, but to be honest, I'm not really even going to comment on it. I'm not going to justify it. But all I'll say is he's a fantastic bloke.
Well, in that case, can you just give an insight into his character, what he's like for you as not as a player but as a leader and as a friend to you both?
No, he's like I said, he's a great guy. I mean, passionate guy, family man. He's he's captained Springboks now a couple of times. He's an upstanding guy. I don't think there's a fellow in the squad that doesn't like him.
Hi, Simon Burke, SABC News. John and Marvin, you had a chance to visit a school in the town that the Springboks are training in. We ran into the mayor and he was singing the Springboks praises and said that the children were overjoyed by the visit from you guys. And that's a theme I've noticed in France, is that the school children have really taken to the Springboks. Tell us about your interactions, because Marvin, they asked you what you would be if you weren't a rugby player, and you said you were going to be a footballer.
I wish, yeah. If I was short and faster. Yeah. So no, I think that was a fantastic experience for us, and on a personal level for me when I was a kid, whenever there was professional rugby players around, and whenever you could get an interaction, it's something that stays with you for the rest of your life. So hopefully that interaction would stay with those kids, and of course we've heard that there's not a lot of rugby in schools here, but more in clubs. So yeah, we don't know if they do get many interactions, but yeah, like I said, hopefully that will stay with some of them for the rest of their life, and probably aspire to play for France. Hopefully they don't become so good that they'll beat South Africa in the future. But yeah, I think it's important for us to try to stay in touch with the next generation.
John, the mayor also said that a lot of the kids actually have Springbok jerseys that weren't bought for the occasion. They've had them for a while. So the Springbok is a brand that translates well, especially here in France. Have you got an inkling as to why the French have taken to the Springboks?
I think rugby is just one of those universal things. I don't think you need to be from a certain place to, support a certain team. Obviously, you're probably more inclined to support the Springboks if you're from South Africa, or Ireland if you're from Ireland, or you can name any team. But I think there's a lot of people that look at our style of gameplay and look at our history and what we've done and what we represent. I think what the Springboks represent in terms of unity and just passion for the game. I think it resonates with a lot of people across the world. So I'd say that's probably the main reason. It's just people find something that draws them to the Springboks. I think it draws a lot of people.
And he also said you guys are going to win. So that's the main.
The children were very adamant we win too. So.
Hi John, I think I saw your wife in the TV coverage of the last game. Was she being a part of this as well?
Yeah, no, she was immensely embarrassed because she's this thing where whenever she sees herself on TV, she ducks down. So it actually happened. The exact same thing happened to her at the URC final, and she ended up becoming a meme there about when you tell your boss you're at work or you're sick, but you go to the URC final instead or something like that. So that's now 2 playoffs in a row. She's been caught on the big screen. But yeah, no, she's been with us for since the Tonga game. So it's been fantastic having my family with me.
And have you had much other support from back in Munster from Irish people as well?
Tons. Absolutely inundated with messages from Munster supporters. Obviously only after Ireland fell out, then they really came after us and said, no, listen, you're our second team now, guys. So I think the support was really well felt and really heartfelt as well from a lot of Munster fans, and I think it made it a lot easier for me, because I thought there'd be, to be honest, I thought it would be quite a negative reaction when I declared for the Springboks from I suppose my history with Irish media. I figured there'd be a few negative articles, but it was resoundingly positive, and I was really happy about that. And as I said, it made it a lot easier for me.
gents. Jean, you mentioned family. How important is it having your family around during a tournament of this magnitude? And for you, Marvin, you know, it's always a team effort. The coaches have always spoken about how even the guys that don't play prepare the first 15, the entire 23 actually, to get onto that field. How intense have those sessions been in making sure that they are game ready for the match as well?
It's incredible. I mean, you're walking through the hotel and you might get into a hallway and there'd be 10 kids running and screaming and chasing each other. It just feels like family. It's really it's such a nice feeling. You know, you go for dinner and there's a load of kids running around playing games, and I mean, I had my child carried away by a 4-year-old girl about 2 days ago. She was just like, no, I'm going to go play with him now. Picked him up, walked him away. I was like, hands off, you know. So it's fantastic. I mean, Marvin's family is there as well. I mean, there's a load of guys actually at the moment who have really young babies. I think your son's 5 months?
3 months.
3 months old. Yeah. I think Jasper Visa has a daughter as well. She's, I think, 2 or 3 months old as well. I know Mike van Staden, his daughter was born in the first week we were here. So I think he spent 2 days with her before having to fly back. So fortunately for him, his family's coming this week. They've managed to get all their affairs in order and make the flight. So no, it's such a fantastic part of being here and having them included. You know, I think it's a big thing for them to be part of the whole experience. It's not just, you know, off go the husbands to play rugby. It's, you know, off we go. This is we are part of this. It's us. You know, it's not them. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think it's rugby at its core is a team sport. You know, whether 23 in the World Cup situation is 33. So it's important, I think, for everyone to contribute, because we also know injuries. We know, you mentioned the preparation as well, and I think professional rugby these days, especially at international level, there's so much analysis that goes into a position. We know some of the other international teams have, you know, a lot of analysts. We also do. Our coaches do most of it, yeah. So of course the analysis is the one part, and then trying to do those analysis or do the things that the opposition do in training it's almost it sort of helps or prepares the guys who will be playing. So by the time they hit the match, they've seen whatever it is that the opposition will bring in training that week, or in a video session, or in their own when they're watching a video analysis on their phone or laptop or whatever. So yeah, I think it's incredibly important for a rugby team to operate like that, and yeah, I think for South Africa, we hopefully all the other clubs or the franchises, you know, we use the same model, that it's 23 or whatever the squad is. Everyone is incredibly important, because you never know, there could be injuries and other guys could be quite important towards the latter stage of the competition. So yeah, I think it's quite important for us.
Hi guys, it's Sherry from the New Zealand Herald. The All Blacks are known for bringing a very special type of intensity to the Haka on big games, especially a World Cup final. Have you guys spoken at all about, as a team, about how you might respond to it, or, you know, what are you sort of expecting that to be like?
Look, I think it's a fantastic tradition, and I think it's very much part of world rugby. I think it's one of the coolest things in world rugby. But it's just part of a game day against New Zealand. You know, it's one of the things you have to face, and actually, you know, obviously I played that game at Twickenham. It was my first time facing the Haka, and it was a cool experience. Yeah, it's something they do, and we'll honour it, and they will play the game. I think that's really what we're looking forward to, is the rugby aspect, and the 80 minutes between the four lines. That's what we're focusing on.
So no plans to respond in any different or unique ways, just
we'll
same as always?
line up and
yeah.
let them do the Haka, and then we'll play rugby, which is what we're there for.
let's take last question over there, guys. We started early, so we'll take one more question.
Marvin, Adanya, you spoke about the analysis of the All Blacks. Can you just give us an insight as to the pictures that they will paint on Saturday?
Yeah, I think without trying without giving too much away of our plans, but everyone here knows, everyone in the world knows what the All Blacks are famous for. They're famous for courageous play. They brave in with their skill sets. They always try to play with good skills, you know, and of course we felt, or the guys who I wasn't involved in the Rugby Championship match, but the guys felt that, I think, in the way they started the match, it was with a good intensity, and I think, you know, probably credit to them, it was good skills that wasn't shown, and I think then the learnings that the coaches and the squad took going into the match in London, you know, it went in our favour. So of course we are hoping that it will be like that again. I highly doubt it, because of course it's a final, it's a lot at stake, so probably it won't be a big margin, but yeah, hopefully it will be in the favour of the Springboks.
Thank you, Marvin. Thank you, Jacob, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Have a good evening.